The early access beta is here, and I want to talk about some of my thoughts and review of the beta so far as we've been jumping in and playing it in the early access. So let's jump in and talk about that. Welcome to Uplink. But before we get into the actual review, definitely go check out our podcast called The Battlefield Show. Myself and Sammy Boy talk about all things Battlefield, old and new. And this Friday, we'll be talking about tips and tricks that you should definitely be using as you jump into the open beta. So definitely stay tuned for that. You can find it on this channel or wherever you find podcasts. So I've been hopping on and playing the open beta early access, and I actually streamed for 3 hours yesterday, and we'll be streaming today pretty much every day of the beta, so definitely stay tuned for that and check it out. But I have some thoughts, and I overall kind of TLDR, I love this game, but it has some issues. So let me give my overview of the beta so far, how much time I've spent, what I've played, and kind of what I've experienced, and we'll get into kind of the specifics of that as well. Okay, so all together, I've probably put in maybe 6 to 8 hours of the beta since it launched. I played it in the morning, I did the stream, and I played a little bit more after the stream. So definitely have been putting in some time to it. I am really excited. So I first played it on my Xbox Series X, and I sucked. It's been so long since I've played on console that like I have lost all ability and capability on console. It was awful. But in terms of kind of the experience that I had, it was overall very good, but I did have some weird issues. So when I was playing around in the beta on the Series X, so this is like best case scenario pretty much, other than my PC. Series X, very good console, very powerful, 4K, HDR, it looked gorgeous, but there was some like weird lagginess in terms of my crouch button. Some of the actions that I had from the controller to the console were a little bit iffy, and I had it connected, so it wasn't anything like that, but it was a little bit of a delay that I could tell. Maybe it's something that's always been there in Battlefield on console, but I just have not felt it because I don't usually play Battlefield on console, play it on PC, but overall my experience was very good, but I sucked. I don't want to tell you my KD on console, but it was very bad. I don't know if I even got a kill. No, I did not get a kill in my time on the console. So that just gives you a little bit of perspective in terms of how much time I've been sinking to the game on PC versus on consoles. But that's a different topic. Now kind of going on to my experience with it on the PC, I've got 48 gigs of RAM, I've got a 3080 Ti, I've got a 5950X 16 core 32 thread CPU. And like I didn't have too many hiccups in terms of bugs or anything like that, at least in terms of performance. Like there was no lagging or anything like that. There was a moment where I thought I was going to get kicked because the server, I believe, lagged. And I was very scared I was going to get kicked. I was halfway through. I was just popping off. I had gotten a string of like 4 kills, and I was just about to get into another round of some AI because I'd gone through the characters and then some AI popped up randomly. I was like, okay, easy kill. Thankfully it was AI, otherwise I would have been murdered, but I was able to get out of that and the game did not crash on me. Hallelujah. There have been some weird like graphical issues in terms of floating through the ground. I had a few times where I was floating through the server. I could actually see all of the open space behind and underneath stuff. Elevator doors are weirdly not working, and you can just walk through them, activate the button, and then walk through the doors already closed. But that's something definitely that they've for sure have fixed, so I'm not concerned about that for the full release. But like overall, I'd say it's pretty good. A beta for sure, like it's definitely an early build, hopefully. But this is also concerning, like if this was an offshoot a couple months ago, and it's clear why they had to delay the game. It's playable for sure, but it's quite buggy. So I think that may be part of just the offshoot because of how they actually got this beta process. The beta is months old, and what they did is at one point they said, okay, this build of the game is quite consistent, it doesn't have too many issues, let's kind of offshoot that. We're going to slice off this section and start getting it sent off to the platform owners in terms of PlayStation, Microsoft, and PC, Steam, wherever, Origin, send all that off, and they got the clarification, and they just put that little piece on there, and maybe they had like a smaller team work on optimization. So that's how they handled the beta in terms of the creation and the state of it. So it is older build. They have been going online and saying, oh, that moment when you see a bug that you know you fixed in a newer build. So that's good to see that they are putting in that issue, and it's it's good to see that they're aware of these things. In terms of the server issues, I had quite a few times where myself and the server were not aligned. Like there were moments where I was like getting shot after shot. I was able to get these things very consistently, but there were moments where I could feel it lag and it wasn't consistent. It would just spike up and I would feel it. And I would be aimed on this person 100%, hit every single shot, and I would not kill them. So there has been some moments like that where myself and the servers were out of sync. And I know it's not my network because I have gigabit Ethernet or internet both ways. My ping is like 1 millisecond or less. So it's not my internet in terms of performance. So there have just been some key things like that, and overall it's been solid. You can definitely tell it's an earlier build. You can definitely tell that there are some bugs, and it's clear. I had a moment where I just could not jump for a whole life. I could not jump until I died and then respawned. And then in another moment, there have been some issues with the tablet itself pulling up vehicles and upgrades, where you pull up the tablet and then you're stuck in the tablet. Like you can't do anything, you can't control the menu, you can select a vehicle and it just does not spawn and does not respond. I did have a few moments like that, but overall that's something that they are aware of and they're working on fixing. Overall, it's not been terrible. It's mostly just kind of like, oh, this is kind of annoying. Like randomly my specialist would switch. I wouldn't do anything. I'd go back to the menu after the game and then I'd spawn in as Maria Falk, who's now my least favorite character in the game because I got teabagged by an old lady really close to my face and I don't want to think about it. It was not good. Another thing that happens is when you spawn into the game and you have these customizations on your weapon. Like I wanted a 4x scope on my sniper and I wanted a stock and I wanted a stabilizer. So I wanted all these things and I wanted to switch the bag. Between rounds, it would switch. It would just go back to the base thing and I have to re-equip everything. But that's definitely something that is easily fixed and shouldn't be in the full release. The intro, it takes too long to get the location unless you're in a vehicle. I don't personally like the vehicles in Battlefield. They're just not my thing, but I understand people really enjoy them. It's just not something that I enjoy, and it's something that I feel I have to do because of how big the maps are. So if you're not spawning into a vehicle at the beginning, it takes a while to get to the objective, and overall it's just better to jump into that vehicle, get there, hop out. At least at the beginning. Past the beginning though, like it is so fast paced. Something that I was concerned about is getting to the locations. It wasn't terrible. There were moments where I'm like, man, these things are so far apart. But most of the time I would find either skirmishes in between the objectives, or I would find something that would take my focus away from the slog to get from objective to objective, or I'd be on the big massive skyscraper, jump down, parachute to the location and get there really quickly. One of my big concerns was the size of the map, so it's definitely something to keep aware of and keep in mind as you go forward. But overall, I didn't find a huge issue in it. Really loved the feel. Like there were so many only in Battlefield moments where like you're running around and a helicopter swoops in and then another jet runs into the helicopter, it explodes above you, and then a firefight happens, everyone jumps out of another helicopter and you're just action-packed fighting it out. Oh my gosh, like it has captured that Battlefield feel so well, and I'm so happy for it. The weapons are great. The plus system in terms of how you can customize your weapon is incredible and probably one of the most satisfying systems in a game I've played in a while. Super intuitive, easy to use, like it just works so great. I mean, it literally just works, and I love it for that. Overall, the core of this game is so good, and I don't think there was a moment in the entire stream or the entire time that I've been playing this game where I was not smiling. The whole mechanic and the whole feel of the game is incredible. I am so looking forward to the other experiences of Hazard Zone and Portal, as well as to experience the other maps. Sadly, even during that amount of time that I played, the only times that I got the tornado were during the last segments of the match. So there was one moment where we were like 20 points left until we lost, and myself, Ethan, aka Danger Cat, and Dinko were running towards the edge of the map to jump into the tornado just before it ended, and then we got swirled in, dealt a bunch of damage, and then just as we were about to get kicked out in terms of flying out of the tornado, the game ended. So I haven't really been able to experience the full effect, and I have not yet seen the rocket launch. So I'm really looking forward to having those experiences in the game, but I'm so enjoying the variance in gameplay. The variance in the map design is good. I think there could be a little bit more in the interim. That'd be kind of my only gripe on that. Gameplay style is something very Battlefield, and it captures those big moments, captures the amount of creativity that you can have and customization. I love the direction they're going, and once we get more of a robust, cleaned up experience, I'm definitely looking forward to the full release. And I can't wait to play more of the beta as well, so definitely stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and yeah. I'm looking forward to hearing all of your thoughts too. If you've been able to play in the early access, let me know your thoughts on the beta. What are some experiences that you've had, and what are some of your favorite moments? Let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe if you have not. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, the other button works as well. And as always, I'll see you on the battlefield.